Good day, and welcome to the Government House weekly press briefing for the week of Monday, June 5th, 2023. I am Government House Communications Director Richard Mota for the benefit of the radio listening audience. We are now in the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. Governor Bryan and the administration want to continue encouraging Virgin Islands residents to prepare and stay up to date with the latest information coming from VITEMA and the National Hurricane Center. Joining me this afternoon for more details on the administration's preparedness efforts and information on how Virgin Islands residents can best prepare for this year's storm season is VITEMA Director Darryl Joshin. And so at this point, I'll turn over the briefing to Director Joshin. Director?
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Director Richard Mota. Before I talk about hurricanes, I want to talk a little bit about the heat currently. The National Weather Service I talked to about 30 minutes ago has already reported that St. Croix has hit a heat index of 105 degrees today as of Monday, the 5th of June. So not surprising if you've been outside, you can confirm what I'm telling you. However, throughout the rest of this week, another hot week is expected for the islands, with heat indices not only where we are at 105, but going to above 108 degrees are anticipated for many urban and coastal areas across not just the territory U.S. Virgin Islands, but in Puerto Rico and for our area, between 102 and 107 degrees is the heat index. Each day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., so that's the height of the heat index. Also, we have hazy skies due to Saharan dust is also expected with a height of concentrations being today and Tuesday, and again on Thursday. Rainfall and fortunate activity is limited to at least to the first half of the work week. We do have tranquil marine conditions to continue throughout this week. As far as the rest of the week, as follows long-term Thursday through Tuesday, stable weather conditions are expected to prevail during the long-term forecast period. We do have a high-pressure system at all levels will continue to hold just northeast of the islands. This feature will drive the winds from the southeast through Saturday. We have breezy conditions will persist throughout the period with low-level steering winds between 15 and 20 knots. The Saharan layer, again, will remain in place to end this week and into early next week. The hazy skies are expected. The models show the highest concentrations lingering into Friday due to the dry air aloft. The shower activity is limited to this period. Now, how do you prepare and how to keep yourself going through this heat conditions? The Department of Health Commissioner Usta Encarnacion advises that individuals with asthma, chronic lung disease, and other respiratory illnesses to minimize your outdoor exposure. If unavoidable, they should aim to outside early hours, the daytime, and limit their physical activity. Symptoms of heat exhaustion, such as dizziness, thirst, sweating, nausea, weakness, should not be overlooked. In response to the impending heat wave, the Department of Health has issued the following guidelines, so please listen to these. First, stay hydrated. Increase your fluid intake irrespective of your thirst level. So if you wait till you're too thirsty, it is too late. Refrain from consuming alcohol and caffeine as they can induce dehydration. Stay cool. Seek air conditioning. Cool spaces during peak heat hours of the day whenever possible. You want to dress appropriately. Opt for loose, lightweight clothing along with the hat to shield your head and your face. Take it easy. Still clear of strenuous activities during the hottest part of the day. Check on others. Please check on yourself and others. Regularly check older relatives, friends, and neighbors to ensure their well-being. Know the signs of heat stroke. Heat stroke is a severe condition that necessitates immediate medical help. Symptoms comprise high body temperature, confusion, and loss of consciousness. And lastly, seek medical attention. If necessary, if you experience dizziness, nausea, or any other signs of exhaustion, don't hesitate to seek medical attention immediately. And of course, you can call 911 for fire and EMS or police assistance. The Atlantic hurricane season arrived last week, like Director Mota said, on 1st of June, and the government of the U.S. Virgin Islands has readied evacuation shelters for the 2023 season. NOAA announced on May 25th, 2023, the outlook for the hurricane season 2023, which goes from 1 June to 30 November, predicts a 40% chance of near normal season, a 30% chance of above normal season, and a 30% chance of below normal season. NOAA is forecasting between 12 to 17 named storms, which winds of 39 miles an hour or greater. Of those, 5 to 9 could become hurricanes with winds of 74 miles an hour or greater, and including 1 to 4 major hurricanes, category 3, 4, or 5, with the winds starting at 111 miles per hour. NOAA has a 70% chance of confidence in these ranges. Readiness for hurricane season in the U.S. Virgin Islands includes development of an individual or family plan and on where to shelter during the passing of a storm threat. VITEMA recommends you assess your home to determine if it's safe. This includes looking at your storm shutters, your roof conditions, and the tendency of flooding from either the wind-driven rain or heavy rains which accompany the leading and trailing portions of a storm known as rain bands. These rain bands bring short periods of intense rain and a possibility of flash floods. If your home is unsafe, please identify alternate shelter locations to include those with neighbors, friends, families, your faith-based structure. In most cases, the alternate locations are needed for up to 48 hours and covers the final hours leading up to a storm arrival and several hours after the storm or rain bands to make sure the first responders can remove debris and assess the road trafficability. A storm watch is issued by the National Weather Service in Puerto Rico for the U.S. and the U.S. Virgin Islands 48 hours prior to the arrival of the tropical storm force winds, which we mentioned is 39 miles per hour. Storm watches or warnings are issued 36 hours prior to the arrival. For individuals and boaters unable to find a safe shelter with neighbors, friends, family, or faith-based shelter, the government of the Virgin Islands has assessed and will be opening evacuation shelters. Based on the direction of Governor Albert Bryan Jr., both the District of St. Thomas, St. John, and Water Island, and the District of St. Croix will be treated equally in the decision to open the shelters. The government of the Virgin Islands announces for 2023 season evacuation shelters for both congregate and medical special needs shelters for individuals and families. On the island of St. Thomas, the evacuation shelters are located at Lockhart School, which has a capacity of 248, the Eudora Ken High School Gymnasium with a capacity of 460, the Eudora Ken High School Cafeteria with a capacity of 161. On the island of St. Croix, evacuation shelters are located at Complex High School with a capacity of 739 and the D.C. Canagated Community Center with a capacity of 161. The St. John evacuation shelter is located at Adrian Senior Center with a capacity of 15. Water Island residents are encouraged to shelter on St. Thomas. The maritime community is encouraged not to ride out any storms on board a vessel, but to properly secure your vessel and seek shelter with friends or come to one of the shelters in St. Thomas or St. Croix. Individuals with functional disabilities are welcome at any shelter as they are all accessible. Service animals are permitted at all shelters territory-wide. However, pets, namely dogs and cats, can only be housed at either Lockhart on St. Thomas or Complex on St. Croix. Pet owners must bring your cages, kennels, food, medicine, leashes, and are responsible for daily care of their pets. Cat owners must also bring litter boxes, while dog owners must clean up after their pets after they relieve themselves. Individuals interested in coming to the government shelter are encouraged to call the Department of Human Services during the week of 12 to 16 June, not this week, but next week, at the following number. These are individuals interested, 340-715-6935. Again, that number, 340-715-6935, during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., to complete a short shelter interest survey. This is just for us to have an understanding if you're interested in coming to a shelter. The survey can also be completed by going to the VITEMA website at www.vitema.vi.gov. Now, the Department of Health announces medical special needs shelters, which are different from the congregate shelters on St. Thomas, at the department's Community Health Center located on the second floor of the Snyder Regional Medical Center Hospital. And on St. Croix, at the Career and Technical Center called CTEC, individuals already certified with Vitran Paratransit can coordinate the transportation to shelters once the shelters are opened by calling Vitran on St. Croix at 340-773-1664. Again, on St. Croix, 340-773-1664, or in St. Thomas at 340-774-5678. Again, for transportation to be prearranged once you're certified, on St. Croix, 340-773-1664, and on St. Thomas, 340-774-5678. A caretaker must accompany anyone admitted to a medical special needs shelter. Our congregate shelters on the islands of St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John are managed jointly by the Department of Human Services and volunteers from the American Red Cross. Individuals desiring to volunteer the American Red Cross can call on St. Thomas 340-774-0375. Again, if you want to volunteer with the American Red Cross and be trained, on St. Thomas 340-774-0375, and on St. Croix 340-778-5104. Again, on St. Thomas or St. John, both of those 340-774-0375, and on St. Croix, 340-778-5104. That will get you the Red Cross directly. A nurse's station is also located at each shelter, but individuals must complete a COVID-19 health survey prior to entering a shelter. The VI Police and the National Guard soldiers will conduct a bag health and welfare check as part of the entry process. No unlawful items will be permitted in a shelter. The goal of the territory is to open up shelters 24 hours prior to the arrival of the tropical storm force winds, which we know are 39 miles per hour. Governor Albert Bryant Jr. will announce the opening and closing of shelters during press conferences such as this, and when storm forecasts are such that it threatens individuals located in unsafe areas. An update to this press release and discussion on approved shelters will be done during the week of 1st of August. For additional information about hurricane preparedness, please visit the Vitema website at www.vitema.vi.gov or the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's website at www.ready.gov. Also, you can sign up for Alert VI mass messaging to receive emergency notifications on hurricanes, flash flood warnings, and watches by also visiting Vitema at www.vitema.vi.gov. You can choose to receive messages in English or Spanish, and you can choose to receive messages by text, by email, or phone call. Vitema reminds you for the hurricane season 2023, which runs from 1 June to 30 November, please be prepared, stay informed, and be vigilant. Thank you very much. Director Mota?
Thank you, Director Joshin, and keyword, prepare, prepare, prepare. When the storm is on its way is not the time to try to scramble to get your affairs in order or to get supplies. So make sure you take heed to the information that was shared today and have a plan and look out for your neighbors as well. The Office of Management and Budget is pleased to announce the launch of the new ServiceNow platform for Social Security recipients and disabled adults to submit eligibility documents for a one-time Social Security payment stipend. End users can now access the portal on a web-based platform or mobile device for added convenience. Customers should visit the OMB website at omb.vi.gov and navigate to the Customer Contact Center at the very top of the page to begin the registration process. Users must first register on the portal before submitting a case for document review. So I'll repeat that. You have to first register on the portal before submitting a case for document review to see if you are eligible to, in fact, receive that Social Security stipend. Once registered, customers will receive a confirmation email to then log in and submit their case. All customers are encouraged to review the knowledge articles found with the Customer Contact Center to ensure valid documents are submitted. For assistance navigating through the page, please submit an email to ssi@omb.vi.gov. Again, if you need assistance navigating through the portal, please submit an email to ssi@omb.vi.gov. And one of OMB's agents will reach out to you. Residents are encouraged to utilize the online platform rather than submitting documents at the OMB offices for an efficient and streamlined processing of payments. So to make the process a lot more convenient and easier for you, OMB is encouraging you to use that online portal to submit your documents rather than bringing them into the office. In some other news, the members of the 175th Emancipation Commemoration Committee will be making a special presentation this Thursday, June 8th at 10 a.m. alongside VIA, who is one of the committee's corporate partners. Tune in for that special presentation and for updates from the committee on its efforts to commemorate this year's 175th anniversary of the July 3rd, 1848 Emancipation Proclamation. That presentation will take place at Government House, and you can view it right here on our Facebook page and via the Government Access channel, which is channel 27 if you have VIA. That is all the news that we have for you today. I will take any questions from the media if there are any, and I believe we have one joining us virtually, Suzanne Ellis from the Virgin Islands Source. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Hi, good afternoon, Richard.
Good afternoon,
I'm
Suzanne.
wondering if Director Josh will again explain the registration for COVID. Is there a nurses station at every shelter, and how does that go about? Do that again?
Sure. Director Joshua.
Ms. Ellis, if I understand the question right, you're asking about the constraints, if you will, for COVID for this year, 2023. So each shelter does have a nursing station. It's required. We do have a survey as someone comes into the shelter to ask about their history of symptoms currently and make some assessments. We are not going to do any specific testing of anybody, but if they are having symptoms, I do check they have been exposed to someone recently, we will put them off into a special location identified. We can call it a quarantine center to have the nurses look that individual up, but not to not admit them into the shelter, but to keep them separately so they're not in the congregate sheltering. That was a concern we've had always for the last couple of years about sheltering, but we want to make sure we had some protection for anybody coming in to go through that self-survey. But if they are having symptoms, they are exhibiting that on the survey, we'll have them put into a separate location for monitoring. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you. That makes it much clearer.
Any other questions, Suzanne?
Do you happen to know how many of those stipend checks for Social Security recipients are still out?
No, unfortunately, I do not have that number, but I could follow up with you once. I can contact the Office of Management and Budget and then follow up with you on that information.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our press briefing this afternoon. Tune into the Administrator's Corner this and every Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 107.9 FM The Vibe. The Administrator's Corner is a weekly radio program where Virgin Islanders can get updates from all three island administrators on projects and government-led initiatives in the community. So make sure you tune in this Wednesday, again, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This and every Wednesday on 107.9 FM The Vibe. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good week.